a video to see how much cheese we can put in some linguine. It's fancy linguine. Oh, I don't know where to pack it. Well, no, it's gone in the soft plastic recycling. So it's the good stuff. And I was just kind of quite curious. I've done loads of videos like this, and I really kind of, it's me unpicking things. And I'm kind of quite curious how much cheese we can actually put into this linguine. So, fried it off a bit of salami, used the oil to cook the pasta, well, not the oil, but added some water, put the pasta in, didn't pre-blanch the pasta, just cooked it from from dried in the pan. If you've watched any of my videos, I've kind of done it that way before. And then taking it to just before al dente, although it's probably at al dente now, and then we can see that the fat from the salami and the starch from the pasta has formed a little bit of the sauce in the bottom of the pan already. We will have to add some more water to this as we go, and we will take it to the edge of splitting it. We might even split it just to kind of see how much pasta, how much cheese the pasta will take. I have done this experiment before with what's the other type of pasta? I don't think I've got it here. Spirals. Yeah, so I made a, prepared as always. Oops. I made it with that, and because I kind of thought that it's got a larger surface area, so we'll get more starch out of it, so we'll be able to form a sauce a lot easier. And then I used cheap cheese, and it was like a 2-ingredient mac and cheese type of thing. But anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how dirty my cooker is. Now, this is a pan of water. So the danger here is that there won't be enough heat in the pasta and the pan to melt the amount of cheese that we're going to put in this. So I'm just using this cheap hard cheese from the supermarket. It's cheap because it's not very old. And because it's not very old, it melts a lot easier. I did do another video about using a harder, older cheeser. Harder, older cheeser? Harder, older cheeser? Harder, older cheese. And it didn't melt in just kind of quite as easy. So, how much does this weigh? And then we'll just weigh, is it 200 grams? Yeah, 200 grams. And then we'll kind of see how we go. I haven't pre-grated it. I'm just going to do it on that. I suppose everyone would want you to do it on that. I just really can't bother doing it on that. I've got to make things hard for myself sometimes, but I really don't really want to. And sometimes I tend to go around houses with things. So this will be fine enough that it melts easy enough. This is my thoughts anyway. And because it's a younger, harder cheese, I don't know what type of cheese that it would have matured into. I don't know. I think it would be like a harder cheese that doesn't get to the grade of high quality. So there'll be cheeses that get rejected because they don't just reach the standard that the cheesemaker, and blessed are the cheesemakers, will be happy with. So they're not going to throw those cheeses away, are they? They're going to sell them off as a lower grade cheese. There's a lot of work goes into it, a lot of milk. You're not just going to throw that away just because it doesn't hit the grade. You're going to sell it off. So I think that's what the cheaper cheeses are in the supermarket. And it also come from cows that the milk isn't just quite as good, or maybe the milk's a little bit older. There's not a lot of fat in the milk. Maybe from, I don't know. So maybe from harder cheeses which just aren't quite as popular. So obviously you've got your pecorino and your parmesan and all those. But there will be other harder cheeses in Italy that just aren't kind of quite as popular for whatever reason. You know, maybe they're just made slightly out of the region where they make parmesan or pecorino. You know, maybe. So they can't be classed as those type of things, but they're still good quality, but they can't sell them as those things. So there's lots of reasons, and that's not to say that it's going to be a rubbish hard cheese, and also the if you paint, so that's not good, is it? So the expensive matured cheese Parmesan that I bought, it was Grampanano, oh, I can't even speak my own language. You can't expect me to speak other people's. Was aged for 30 months, and to have something in storage and be matured for 30 months, that's a lot of time and a lot of space, and that space needs to be paid for. So by maturing for something for half that time, it costs less, you know. Like time is money and all that kind of stuff, and space is money. So if you're keeping something in a controlled environment and you're doing it for less time, it costs you less money, so you can sell it for less. These are just my meanderings though. Yeah, so that's quite a lot of cheese getting in there so far, isn't it? It hasn't split yet, although how's the bottom of the pan? No, it's still hot. It's still hot. It's just not want to coat just as well. I don't think it needs any. I think we're at the limit, you know. I think we're at the limit. It's not going to want any more than that. It's not going to take any more. I think it's down to the amount of starch. So if there's a bit more starch, it might hold it together a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to hold it together a little bit more. And I don't think we split it because the pan doesn't feel hot enough. It's not like it's hot, and I can hold my hand on it, but it's not hot enough that it would split the cheese. I just don't think it's going to want to melt it any more than that. It's not split the cheese because of the heat, it's split the cheese because there's too much cheese in there. So, what does that weigh? So that was 200 grams. Yeah, so we put 100 grams worth of cheese into 200 grams worth of linguine, and that's about too much. So it's all right. It's all right, but I think it's down to the starch in the pasta. There just wasn't quite enough starch to combine it all to make sauce. Although it's not. Look at that. That's not. That's not terrible. It's just looking a bit flaggy. It might need a little bit more water. Let's put more cheese in. While we're doing it, let's completely keep going, and we'll add a little bit more water, and we'll see if what happened. Although that's a lot of cheese for me to be eating this late at night. Although I have been swimming, and I have done some gardening, and I have been for a walk, so that's 130 grams worth of cheese. So it's not as if I haven't expelled a lot of energy. I did have a snooze this afternoon. Right, a little bit more water. We'll pretend it's pasta water. See if that just brings the sauce together. And of course, as well, we're dealing with the pasta keeping on cooking as well, which is, so it'll be past al dente now. But we'll give it a try. Yeah, no, that's not gonna. There's too much cheese in that. It's starting not look so good and not look soft and luxurious. So yeah, that's not going to go any further. Well, it's looking okay on the spoon, but it's not. So that's way too much cheese. Is it? Is it what we call? Is it past al dente? It will be, I think. Also, these better quality cheeses and better quality pastas are more forgiving when you're cooking them, so they tend to stay at al dente for a little bit longer. It's too cheesy. It's too cheesy for those Roman type of pastas, and it's starting to go a bit claggy and split there. so a bit stringy, which is not what you want. So about 100 grams worth of, well, that's not so bad down the bottom. It's just not sticking to the pasta in a particularly nice way. So, but anyway, so 100 grams is pushing it of cheese. 130 grams is pushing it far too far. Yeah, it's just gone. I don't know how we'd fix that. I don't know how we get more cheese in. I think with using the spiral pasta, because of the surface area of it, there was more starch that came out of it. Imagine, maybe not. I'm not gonna calculate the surface area of pastas, but maybe more starch came out of it, and that's what kind of kept the sauce together. So as we could, I don't want to extract some starch out of the pasta. I'm going to faff with that. But anyway, so now I know how much cheese in pasta is too much. So from that point of view, a success. Even though that's not a success, we did find something out, and relatively easy. Yeah, but it's just not forming like it should do. So anyway, a success. I'm gonna eat it anyway, aren't I? Just taking a picture of that, and it doesn't look too bad. To my eyes, it doesn't look particularly great, but taking a picture wise. So what we got? Maybe not. Let's get another wooden spoon, because it seemed to show up a lot better on the wooden spoon. So that's the sauce there. So it's nice and thick, but it's just got, I don't think that's because it's sticking to the spoon. It's just gone a bit grainy, and I don't think that's because the pan underneath is too warm. I just think there's too much cheese in there for starch. But if anybody, yeah, it tastes grainy as well. Yeah, it tastes grainy. There's too much cheese in that, and I think it's too much cheese to starch ratio. So we'll take a picture. That is too far. But if anybody actually knows, please comment. Not just like a guess, but if you are an expert on the Roman pastas and melting cheese into pasta, please comment, because I'm curious. I'm curious why you can only put so much cheese into pasta. But anyway, there. A success.